Hey, this is Sarah Mudalal.
Hi, this is Izzy Skim.
Hey guys, this is Dom.
Hey there, this is Lou Wong from Esprit Concrete.
Hey, my name's Scott Jackson and you're listening to Parkour Coach Companion.
Yes, we are back. Episode number 20. Had to change it up for this one. Got a new intro. Maybe some of you will recognise this song. It's an absolute classic in the parkour scene. If you know it, then send me a message and I'll shout you out in my next podcast. Really, truly one of those beats that I imagine myself being some 98-year-old man, just lying somewhere on my deathbed, some hospital somewhere in the future, and just hearing flying cars whizzing by, and right at the end, and as this song comes on, I just think, let me drift off to this one. Lock in, listening. This podcast is all about connecting coaches, connecting practitioners, and trying to delve a bit deeper into philosophies behind parkour, movement principles, and how to learn. Coming up next, Louise Alkmim. Let's go. And just like that, we are back. Episode 20, Louise. Episode 20. I'm very excited.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So a special podcast today because Louise is the brilliant host of Swapping Shoes, which is another parkour podcast that's doing really well and has some really great guests on. So today I've got him and he's had me. So we're kind of swapping shoes and swapping podcasts, which is really, really nice. We're kind of boosting each other, and that's something that I want to see more of in parkour, man. We need to help each other out more. So welcome, Louise. How are you feeling today?
Hello, thank you, Sam. It's an honor to be here too, man. Come on, your podcast is brilliant. I really like the idea, and I really enjoy the guests. I haven't heard too many. I just heard two of them, but I will get to listen to them all for sure. Thank you for having me here. I'm feeling great. And you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very excited after being on the other end on your podcast and being able to kind of I felt a bit nervous, but like being able to chat and have questions thrown at me was a good challenge. So I'm now gonna get you with lots of different ideas and stuff. So
come on, you did so great. You did awesome.
Really. Thanks, man.
I'm very excited about putting it up on the internet.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is on.
Awesome.
A very good Swapping Shoes episode. Thank you.
Awesome. So Louise, I wanted to ask you a little bit, quite a lot of things actually. I wanted to start with you said that you're doing some private lessons, right?
Yeah.
So tell me how they are, who you teach, and how it goes down.
I'm teaching a couple of older people, like not older people. Ooh, it sounds bad. Sorry, I hope they're not listening. Students, you're not old, you're young. Like a mid-30s guys, and I'm enjoying it very much. I feel like it's a very good format for coaching parkour. It's different. It's a different target, different goal, and of course you cannot teach every one of your students because it's not feasible even, and not practical. Otherwise, it would take so long, and it would not reach everyone. It's more pricey and stuff. But I like the fact that it makes me feel like in the early days of my parkour training. Because back then parkour coaching was not so much of a big thing. So we would have this older generation people, at least here in Portugal, that would take me and a couple of other friends that were the same age out on the spot, and they would like just mentor us and guide us through the training for no price, just for fun, just because they enjoyed it and they wanted to spread the message and I really enjoyed the way that they were teaching me stuff. If very, very difficult, I don't believe so, but if Modu and Credo, if you guys are here listening to it, thank you very much, guys. You changed my life. And I really enjoyed the way that they were teaching me, because there was this mixture of very free new sports that you just jumping around, very new age also, and I already enjoyed very much of the freedom and the flipping and the spinning, but I really, really enjoyed this discipline and the feeling of like kind of like you're in a special ops type of team, that you have to work out, you're challenged to be quiet, and every time you hang on a wall, you have to climb up. If you say a swear word, you should do 10 push-ups. I really enjoyed this. It really got me stuck to parkour because it was serious. It was not just a guy giving me tips. It was a serious training. And of course, I'm not training now my students in the same way, so much like this, but I try to give a little bit of this philosophy and of this value, other than just moving, but the value of you're part of a big philosophy, of a discipline, of a form of art in a way. And I try to give them a little bit of this feeling.
That's great, man. Yeah, I think that did seem to be... I think mentorship is an interesting word with parkour, and I was going to ask you, do you think that teaching in this way, like one-to-one, do you think that it can be like more effective than teaching groups?
I think it's different. I think that for some people, teaching in groups is pretty much what they need, because there's a lot of the social aspect to it, that they really feel motivated to train surrounded by other people, and that's what they get them pumped. And maybe their goal is not so much to be like only focus on training parkour, but also on the social aspect, the community aspect of parkour. So the group thing is great. But I think that the mentorship, in parkour, it makes more sense to me, from my experience, of course, in my opinion also, that you don't coach, you mentor them, because it's such a big, broad sport. So many things you can do. There are so many different branches of movement you can go to, so many different styles, and everyone is completely different. So sometimes I feel like if I am too specific to a group in my only way of training, I'm limiting a lot of other people. And if I'm focused on only one person, I can kind of, instead of teaching them how to do stuff, I can really fully try to let them release their own movement and focus on their needs, and get to know what would be best for each one of them. I don't know.
So tell me a bit about these people that you teach then. Like what sort of age are they, and how have they come into parkour completely fresh, or have they had some experience before?
Two of them had experience before, and they're trying to get better after being for a while without like they trained for a while, but they never took it seriously. And now they really want to do it for fitness and also for self-development, and because they really like parkour. And another one of them, so it's 3 people that I coach privately, and the other one of them is a like 36 years old guy. The other 2, one is like 25 and the other one is 28, and the older guy is 36, and he never trained parkour before, but he really likes it and he's really motivated. And he's super into it, and he loves to listen. He, like, sometimes I'm really scared. We were talking about this in Swapping Shoes, that you really have to focus on this way of speaking, if you're talking too much, if you're talking too little. And I'm really scared that sometimes I'm talking too much, or if I'm being too assertive, that it seems like I'm telling people what to do, like demanding instead of suggesting. And I'm really afraid that I'm doing this when I'm teaching. I'm always trying to find this balance. And with my students, I try to have this open conversation all the time. How is the communication going? Am I talking too much? Am I sounding too authoritarian? Or I want you to feel comfortable also. Do you want to move more and talk less and listen less? You want more specifics, or you want to be more free? And this guy, Luca, the 36-year-old dude, he's really into philosophy of parkour, and he's really into listening to this little kind of esoteric, spiritual teachings. For instance, yesterday we were trying to do this playa challenge, different blocks, and he was struggling really hard to make this like maybe 15 to 20, 6 feet apart plyos in ground level pretty much. And he was finding this really hard. And then I explained him touch, as Phil Doyle talked to me on swapping shoes. Yeah, like you have to time it. Like, so I use this, you have to time it as a football player, time the ball with his feet, and to get this perfect communion. I don't know if that's the word. You have to try to do the same thing with your body and the wall. And then I went very esoteric, and I was like, so you have to time it and make it feel like you're not jumping on the obstacle, you're jumping with the obstacle. You're together with it. And when I said this, I was like, oh fuck, I sound like a yogi. Shit. He did it. After that, he did it. He nailed it. He went from 5 plyos to maybe 20. Only by listening. And then after the class, he told me, I really like when you tell me about philosophy and about the way you feel when you do parkour. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. But what was the question even?
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Yeah, that's so interesting. I think that, I talked about this with Will Brown on the last podcast I did about mental imagery, and how if you can create images in someone's mind, kind of using slightly different language, and sometimes it just does the trick. And it sounds like, in this case, it did the trick. So that's super interesting. And I really liked your podcast with Phil, and when he talked about touch and he uses this football metaphor. I think it's really cool. That's great, man. I think that. Did he think that? When you were mentored, how do you, if you can remember, how did they speak with you? Was it more disciplined? Was it more like esoteric?
I think it was not as esoteric as it can be for me right now, because back then they were training for maybe like 3 or 2 years. They were just one generation before like mine and Salgados and Sérgio, the line team guys in Portugal. So they were not so involved, and they didn't have this relationship with parkour that we have right now, that I have right now. That is this really deep thing. This you were saying about mental imagery, like how much can you train only by imagining, only by visualizing? You can do a full training session only by thinking on technique, on steps, on we don't even need to be on the spot. You can just imagine. How many, like, did this ever happen to you, that you wanted to do a challenge and you never thought like when you were at the spot, you didn't think like, I want to do this, but then you were at home and you're like, oh, I'm able to do this challenge now, you know? So I feel like my mentors back then, they didn't have this relationship that parkour is so intrinsic in your body and in your brain that you don't need to do it to feel it, to train it.
Okay.
But still, there was a lot of discipline, and there was a lot of a very deep connection, like an emotional connection that they had with the sport, and it passed on to me because it made me fall in love. Those night sessions that we had to land as quiet as possible and work out, dressing black and repetition, once is never, all of this type of stuff really made me fall in love with parkour. I think it made me fall in love much more than when Line Team Traces posted videos and we were doing crazy flips. I think that's what hooked me. This feeling of the day after that I was so sore, like, oh, last session was so great. I think that feeling really helped me a lot. So they didn't have to tell me so much about their spiritual values and thoughts to spread this esoteric. It was just there already, somewhere in the air. And I'm happy that nowadays I can kind of create a image by saying the words, because it's so much in my heart and in my mind now.
Really nice, really nice. And something that I've been thinking about when I was thinking of questions for you, do you think that this kind of idea of, obviously coaches around the world are teaching in classes and things, but do you think that maybe this kind of more like private teaching, this like street mentorship, do you think we could make like street mentorship programs for young people? Because maybe that would help, because I think there's some practitioners that have a sort of an interest in coaching, but also see it as a little bit boring and not very fun. But maybe they're like proper street rats who just know the city really well and know all the spots really well. Like, I was just thinking in my head, maybe there's a big opportunity for, maybe not, you could say parkour coaching, but you could say like street mentorship, like have these mentorship programs where you get a couple of kids who are really interested and take them out and like, and teach them in different spots. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're very right, man. You know, like you probably know this. You as an experienced coach, you know that there are some students that they don't ever want to go outside. They just want this moment of training in the gym, that you're helping them, they're having fun with other kids. But you also have these other ones that are really into the street culture. They are street rats, and they're curious and stuff like that. I think it's just a very different target. So there are people who want the street mentorship, but there's another people who never want to go outside. They just want to train in the gym. They just want to do it as a leisure activity. But would be like, do you know Parkour One, their programs? I don't know very, very much.
I don't know. I've heard of Parkour One. I don't really know them too well. So yeah, tell me.
It's a crazy school, man. They are awesome. It's
Yeah?
Atterford School, yeah. So they have like over 2,000 students, maybe, something like this.
2000, jeez.
Yes. Only in Germany and Switzerland. They only train outdoors. In
Gangster.
Germany and Switzerland.
That's gangster.
Yeah, it's crazy. And if it's cold, winter, outside. If it's too hot, outside. They have a limited amount of students per coach, so very little number per coach. And it's really like a street thing. And they have a big name, a big reputation, and also really great, like a retention.
Yeah.
So if people get into their school, they will stay loyal to them. Because they give this philosophy of street rats and this street culture of parkour. And I feel like it's something that I think is the biggest value on parkour. Above everything else is this street cultural thing, this challenging, and I don't know, you just become you kind of become part of a cult somehow.
Well, yeah, it is the line between cult and culture, that's an interesting one. Yeah, that's lovely. I have to look into that, because like I said, I've heard of Parkour One, but not too much. So maybe I can get some of those guys or girls on the podcast as well.
Yeah. Talk to Ramon or to Roger, or there's so many of them, and the main coaches. They're great. They're great people. Really nice.
And for you, what makes a good spot to teach at? Do you teach at Chaos?
No, not yet. Not yet. But mostly because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
I think that as soon as the lockdown is over, I will teach in Chaos, of course. It was my first spot also. So a lot of people, they get there and they're like, oh my God, I can never jump here. Everything is massive and there's height. And
Yeah, sure.
but I think it's accessible for everyone. I think a good spot to coach. I usually go to very minimalistic places with the people who are just starting,
Mm-hmm.
because also it makes them more creative
Mm-hmm.
in a way. If they have one wall and they can create vocabulary in this one wall and learn so many different techniques, when they go to a spot that has 50 walls, they can create beautiful sentences and text and articles with this vocabulary that they already have. But it differs. Sometimes some trainings are more specific for climb ups or more physical or balance. So I think a good spot is not about so much in my opinion, about the spot, is about the intention of the student and of the coach. It's what they want to, how they want to communicate and what they want to work on.
Yeah, man. That's nice. Yeah, and I love this idea. I think I've heard it from a few people of like techniques in parkour are kind of like the words, and then you can link them together into sentences, and then you can, as you said, like write articles. I think that's beautiful. That's really nice. Yeah, I think that a tricky one in my mind is like with children, if you don't have much equipment, it doesn't appeal as much. And I think that it's a strange like paradox, because I think you're absolutely right. I think that if you have limited equipment and you're able to set a really good intention and try and get them to be confident and focused with very little equipment, it can then really help for when you have more equipment. At the same time though, speaking with people who coach at gyms, like Hal 5, for example, in Leuven in Belgium, or...
Just a second, man. Someone is ringing the bell. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay, no worries. Go for it.
Sorry. You were saying about Hal 5 in Belgium and the spots.
Yeah, I was just saying about... there's a bit of a paradox, because coaches who have gyms, who train in gyms, in many ways that is an immediate sense of inspiration, because when the kids come in, they're like, whoa, look at all these things. And it's, I don't know what you think about that, because at the same time, sometimes gyms can be way too overwhelming. I don't know, what do you think about that? Do you think that it's tricky, isn't it?
It is tricky. I also think that if someone is coming to a gym and they see all these things and they start to have classes from day one, only in gyms, they will get used to this environment, this very controlled environment that already has all the opportunities that are already put there for them to do. So when they go to a spot outside, there's a lot of wisdom that they will not, they need to learn outside before they can actually have a nice session outside. I was talking about this to a few friends of mine a few months ago. The street wisdom that parkour gives you is really hard to be taught in gyms. Like the checking your landings, or knowing how to talk with someone who's kicking you out, knowing how to pick the spot where you're gonna train and how you're gonna train at the spot, and how to stay warm. All of these type of things, they are not taught in. It's really hard to teach them on gyms, in gyms. So yes, it's very appealing to the eyes for someone who's coming out to parkour and they get to a gym and it's like, oh my god, look at this place. Actually, parkour is a thing. Like, it's physical, it's real, it's an institution. And it's nice, but like if I have to open my parkour school, I would love to have a tiny little gym with very little obstacles, some bars, because you don't find a lot of wild bars. Just little thing, but most part of the classes would be outdoor, because the most beautiful thing, in my opinion, for parkour is the street wisdom and the puzzles that you can create, that you can find, that you have to learn how to solve. And if I take one of my students to a spot outside, and it has very little things, but I just say, man, today is a free day, you do whatever you want. And the student is free and like creative and is trying to find stuff and has questions, he can jam. I will be so satisfied, and I will know like, oh, okay, I kind of did a good job, because I gave the guy a brush, and now he's just painting everything, and he's even painting on this wall, on this door, on this window, on this car. And whereas if you take a student that you just teach on the gym, probably he's just too used to have the perfect canvas with 100 different colors, different types of brushes, and then he's gonna draw this design that you already taught him how to, instead of being fully creative, you know. So it's a paradox, but it's all about balance always, right? There are benefits, and
yeah, for sure, man. I think there's definitely, if you lean one way too much, it can maybe be detrimental. Because I think for sort of an encouraging atmosphere, that's where the indoor is really nice, like the sort of where people feel safe. I think safety is a really interesting one, especially for kids, especially for maybe young girls who are getting into the sport, who are, you know, coming in, and there's just a sea of boys who are running around like crazy. It's interesting.
And for who's paying also, right?
Yeah.
Because the parents are paying for the kids to learn, and it's way more reliable to pay for a nice indoor facility where they feel safe about leaving their kids there. Then
for sure.
It's like, oh, let me leave my kids with this black Brazilian dude jumping on this wall outside. Like, why would a father do that? You have to be very open-minded to do it, man.
Well, hopefully we can change that culture, man. We can make it. I would just love to have this. Yeah, this vision of like, these like street mentors that people feel, you know, safe with, and that'd be so cool. There's
so much value in this.
Yeah.
Come on. Wouldn't you want your kid to be a very autonomous, ready, independent, like ready for a zombie invasion? You know, like you want your kid to have street wisdom, man. And like parkour, I love like the values of parkour, or the respect values. I really enjoy it, man. And it's something that I really want to. It taught me so much, and I'm so happy about my mentors, about this. You don't have to be loud or dick to everyone who's, you know, like you don't have to be smoking weeds and letting everyone knows that you do parkour and you sit in the same spot that you do parkour, just be smoking weed. Like if you do it, go somewhere else. Don't give this image to the person. Don't destroy your spot. Be part of the nice, like it's your area. You know, if you're a painter, you're not punching the canvas and open it open, then you don't have to anywhere to paint. And if we can have this image to parents, I think that this is something that is beautiful, like this integrity. Like I would love to have kids and know that I'm leaving him with this guy who is teaching him courage, integrity, respect, discipline, and fun and love and all of this type of stuff. I would love, while he's just walking around on the street, you know, and he's learning how to use the walls and the rails and moving and making art expression, becoming stronger, but with someone that is teaching him more than just jumping or more than just kicking and like a martial arts. Yeah, so man, we can change this culture. We will. It will be good.
That would be cool, man. And for people listening, this is my plea. Please consider coaching. I've not actually said this directly on my podcast, but there's so much potential. There's so much, you know, if you're complaining about no one training with you, or if you're complaining about no community where you are, maybe a good idea would be start getting into coaching, because you can help inspire someone. You can help get them out onto the street, and then they can feed it's like a positive feedback loop. You help them, and then they can help you, because you feel good about yourself because you're giving value. And then, you know, you feel more encouraged to train, and you get better, and it's just all up, man. Like, I think, that's my plea. to
You're very listening. Passionate about coaching, aren't you?
I think in this moment, yes. In some moments, no. Like when it's hard, it's just like, oh man, this is hard. Because sometimes I feel like, because I'm in the world of parkour, which I love, sometimes having a job in parkour like that is not always good, because you don't always want to train because you've just been coaching and whatever. So I think that right now I am passionate about coaching, but also I think that I haven't been coaching for a while because of the pandemic, and also I'm just like turning the volume up of my enthusiasm just to encourage more people, honestly. So yeah, but yeah, I like speaking with you because I think that you get me. I think that you understand this idea, man. That's cool.
Hey, this is Chris Keithley, and you're listening to the Parkour Coach Companion podcast.
But we're gonna change up a little bit. What does the word ninja mean to you? Because I know that you start your videos with like, "Hello, my ninjas."
Yeah, but that's just because I was gonna say hello, my niggas. Say ninja instead. You're my ninjas. You're my ninjas.
I see. But yeah, what is that? What does ninja mean to you?
I don't know, man. I really not a lot. To be honest, not a lot. Maybe you have a lot of value to this word. I hope I don't disrespect anyone who has a lot of meaning to the word ninja. When I say ninjas on the videos, I mean to the guys that are watching, because I don't have a lot of views on my vlogs, like compared to the big guys. But they are loyal. The people that go back, they are all. So it's like I'm talking to them. It's actually I'm having a conversation with my friends who are watching the video. So with all these ninjas together. So cool. Hello, my ninjas is more like a, what's up, guys? What is a catchy phrase? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But ninjas I don't even know anything about ninjas.
Yeah, like. It's such a, like, I work at a Ninja Warrior facility, and it's like, what actually, where has this come from? Like, what actually, who actually were the ninjas? Because they were probably fucking badass guys that were like probably murderers and horrible people. But I just find it funny that the culture has just diluted it right down. And now it's just like a nice thing to say. Like, if you're a ninja, it's like someone good at moving, someone stealthy. Yeah. So no, it's nice.
I think it came from. I actually quite sure. Yeah, it came from. One day I was hanging out with Zirken. You remember Marcus Gustafsson from Airwhip?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we were just messing around, and we said, "What's up, my ninjas?" Like, he was gonna say niggas, but he said ninjas. So I think it came from there, and then I put it on the videos and stuff like that.
Right. Nice. And how are your videos going? Because I know that you. Well, I was looking on your channel, and I know that you've been making videos and vlogs and things for a long time now, and I think that it seems like you have good motivation to keep making YouTube content, even though obviously Instagram is seems to be the shift slightly. But what do you think about like YouTube?
So it's a lot of ups and downs, of course, with my consistency. I first started making YouTube like vlogs in 2015 or 16, and you can see that there are these waves of motivation to make videos, and then I disappear for a while, and then I come back and I make like 5 more, and then I disappear for a while. And I know it's really hard to have for me to have a normal life. To pay my bills and to put time on making vlogs, because it's I have to work. Sometimes it's parkour job. Sometimes I just had to get a normal job to pay my bills, and like the main reason why I started making vlogs was because at that time I was really passionate about parkour. I was so in love. Like, I was realizing, oh my god, I'm 25, 26 years old or whatever, and this thing is becoming my life. It's like, it's my life now. I want to share a little bit of it to people. Like, I think the first vlog I did was called Respect the Spot, and it was because some kids from Lisbon, like in New Age, they did tags with parkour written on the walls of chaos. One broke a pipe, so I was trying to clean it up and then fixing the pipe, and I feel like I just wanted to share a little bit of the value that parkour has given me and the self-development, because it means a lot to me, and it makes me a more confident and more respectful and more self-empathetic person. And that was the goal of making YouTube videos, to share. But it's also not motivating, because like I don't get money for this. Like I have to work. I was working as like a receptionist of a hostel, and then as a waiter, and then I had like parkour jobs and stuff like this. And then I would see parkour people, or people that are not actually like so much in the community, making these POV videos like late for school and escape from, and they have quite comfortable life, and they get really good amount of money by doing this. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like the audience here is sometimes it's lame, and you know, not lame the audience like my viewers, of course. I mean the audience on YouTube, they're not giving value to people that actually want to spread value. They give value to what is easy, and it's why Instagram is big and YouTube is also I don't know, it's complicated, man. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. But I would love to keep making YouTube videos, and I'm always making. Camera is just here. I was filming yesterday, and but I don't think that my content is a content that will ever pay my bills. So it's like it's some type of, I'm paying to make the videos. I'm paying myself to make it. And it's not like I'm doing it for money, but of course I'm 30 years old in 2 months or 3 months, and my time is precious, and I would love to just keep sharing and spreading what parkour has given me. But the world is fucked, and you cannot pay bills with love and with passion. Also the podcast, like nothing is giving me money, you know, nothing is paying me. I'm doing everything out of passion. Even the coaching that I do, I did the first 2 months of the new school that we have. We do it donation based, because we know that everyone is really bad with money. Like financially, crisis in Portugal is really, really bad.
Sure.
And so we're just trying to keep people motivated by doing this, but it's just complicated to find a balance or a way of making a living and doing something that you think that is valuable. Sometimes I feel like I should just make some fucking cringe POV videos and make money out of it, and then try this will sponsor myself so I can do more passionate things. But then on the other hand, I feel like if I make these cringe videos, I'm creating the image of parkour that I hate, that is this lame, childish sports, the office sport, the parkour, hardcore. I'm so sick of it, man. Parkour is so much cooler than that. Why do we have to... I don't want to make this content. So I prefer to be a little bit broke, but make valuable content than to be making cringy and fucking up parkour image, you know?
But that's the way of the hero, man. That's the hero's journey. That's the hero's journey. You're trying to be authentic. That's so important.
Yeah. But like, of course, I'm not taking the credits of people who are making it, you know, because still it reaches millions and inspires millions of kids to try parkour. It's great. That's the value, but it's not the image that I want to give. So
I think I respect you for that, man. I think that's it's another paradox, isn't it? It's like, well, if I do this, then maybe this will happen, but if I do this, then I'll be broke. It's just
yeah. But if you think about it also, man, look, I imagine right now that the biggest peak that parkour ever had, like in people getting into the sport, was around 2005, 2010. That's the moment that it really blew up. If you see on Google searches and stuff like that, a lot of people were searching it, and it was the time of like a Yamakasi Jump London. It was a new thing, of course. You had the forums, and you had a lot of people who stuck to the sport from this period of time. This like us, our generation. And at that moment, parkour was a valuable thing. It was more than just the ninjas that were late for school, and there was value. People was sticking to it because they felt like it was something meaningful. And nowadays it's like a meme, and you see how many people come and go so easily. So I hope that we can still create this image of parkour as something more meaningful than just looking cool on Instagram and doing backflips to get likes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tricky, very tricky. Staying true to yourself, staying true to parkour and what you believe gives meaning, and then trying to spread parkour and trying to, yeah, it's so hard. What can we do, Luis? What can we do? What's the answer to this? What can we do?
I don't know, just do our thing and try to do everything that we do in a... There's always gonna be very different ways of living, you know, of portraying your art and trying to survive also. So there's always going to be people doing the other side of the spectrum that you don't want to do, but you can always just stay true to yourself and hope that some people will be inspired by what you're saying also. I don't know, I just let it be as it is, but do the best of yourself, or that's what I try to do. I will let it be as it is, but I will also try to stay true to what is my feeling. And if someone can take anything valuable from it, I'm happy and I'm satisfied. If I can inspire one person in my whole life with my feelings, I feel like my life is fulfilled somehow, you know. So I just want that the impact that I give to people is positive in a way, and I cannot do anything about what other people do because that's their life, and I hope they just do whatever makes them feel happy. Yeah, what you think?
Yeah. I think that. Well, no, I know that you've definitely inspired more than one person, Louise. So, I keep your head high, man.
Hi, this is Tom Taylor, and you're listening to Parkour Coach Companion.
Tell us a bit more about the podcast, actually. Like, why did you start it? What was the reason to start it?
So the thing is that the whole thing is the Arch Club. So the Arch Club is an idea that was born from a conversation between me and Caio. That is pretty much the whole brain behind the Arch Club. He's a Brazilian guy, very young, 21 years old, super talented, super smart, and he studies photography. And he was coming to our training sessions and always be like super quiet because he had an injury on his leg. He broke his leg, so he couldn't train. So he would bring his camera and just film us on his corner there. And then in the end of the day, he would go home and put together these really nice Instagram stories of things that were happening in the parkour sessions that are not on Instagram clips. And these clips were beautiful. They were so nice. I was like, oh, this is parkour culture right there. Like us checking out the spots, us playing with the kendama, the way we talk, the way we like warm up, this like rubbing the shoes, like, this type of things. And then one day I suggested like, man, you have to do a documentary. And he said yes. And then he's been filming for over a year, the documentary, the Arch Club. And in the meantime, we thought, let's do something bigger than that, you know? Let's have a place where parkour culture is all condensed and we can spread nice grown-up information about parkour. So we created this Telegram group because we thought that Telegram would be a good idea, but not a lot of people use it. And we were putting some articles, we call it articles, nice. But people can just write, anyone could just write and post it there. We didn't do so many of them, maybe like around 8, 7. And then together with it, we did the Swapping Shoes. That was a podcast that we would be talking to prominent figures in the parkour community. Like we would just sit and talk. They would tell how they're feeling, what they think about parkour, and it's just like a random chat, just catching up. And I really enjoyed it because in the beginning it was just part of the Arch Club, and then it's becoming a thing that is not only part of the Arch Club project, but it's becoming something that is really meaningful to me because I'm learning so much from listening to. It's like I sit down and I say, yo, tell me a story, man. And then, like this person that I really admire is sitting in front of me, giving me their time to tell how they're feeling, their stories, their philosophy. And it's been great. I really enjoy it. It's super cool.
I like the format on Instagram that you use as well, the kind of the carousel posts with the kind of parkour research type thing. Is that something that you're going to carry on, like with the sort of promoting these more, you could say, mature kind of technical posts?
That's the goal. That's what Kayo has been doing. Man, the man's brain is insane. He thinks like he's really like curious. He's always wondering more and wanting to learn, and then he wants to spread. So he does all these carousels, and we discuss a little bit on WhatsApp, but it's pretty much everything is his ideas, and he's always trying to make, but he also studies so that he doesn't have a lot of time. But he's always working on something new. Sorry. Of course, there is a lot of good content already. Like you have Robin the Coach, for example, and I really, really enjoy it. And I feel like we can have more of these, right? This is value for having parkour as something more serious than memes on the internet, and then crazy clips and people getting to it and they see like, oh, check out this Instagram page. They making a connection between parkour and neuroscience. That's sick. You take it more serious, you understand more, and you can actually see the like science research into the parkour world, and it's so nice. It's so much more mature and valuable than what we usually see.
Yeah. We see the movement over and over and over again, and we love it. It's like our snack food. We love it, but at the same time, man, there's so much space for this type of content. There's so much space for educational content, like you said, like making people think of parkour as more than the meme. Making it more serious and something, because that's kind of where me and you started. Like, we didn't see parkour as a gimmick. When I watched Choose Not to Fall by Daniel Abaka, for example, my mind was blown because of the way that he was speaking about this thing. I suddenly thought of how like wonderful and how the potential, just like the potential of parkour, and I think he explained that so well, and that really like made an impact on me. So I hope we can keep doing this, and I think that what you're doing is great, and that for people, go ahead.
It's like also the goal is not to be too analytical, because sometimes if you're too analytical or again too esoterical, people are gonna be like, oh, it's so boring. Some people are just too objective and like how you call it? What is it? Like there, like people are too stoic. They just like, it is what it is. No, there's nothing else, And if you come up with these very deep conversations, you're like, man, this is boring. I just want to do parkour because it's fun and it is true. So we try not to be too analytical also, but leave there the benefit of doubt. You can wonder yourself how it is, what it is. You can think about it too, and you can think about parkour as something bigger than just the movement, right? Because it is bigger than just the movement. Once you get into the road, it's something that really helps you to become a whole nice new human, if you want to, of course.
Cool. I was going to ask you about two of your videos, and they are very different in tone. So I hope you don't mind. We're going to go from a nice tone to a more serious tone. So first of all, tell me about the Ten Commandments video, because I think that I really enjoyed that. I only watched it yesterday, but I really enjoyed it, and I think that it was perhaps there's opportunity in using humor to teach people. So I wonder how did that idea form, and what do you think of using humor in videos?
I was just sitting outside with my friend. We were having a glass of wine, and we thought about it, and then we just did it. I think we have to use humor, man. It's cool. Like when I say like parkour more than a meme, is not saying that being making memes is bad, but it's not cool if parkour is only an internet meme, you know. So humor is nice. And it's light to watch, and because you laugh while you're receiving a nice information, maybe you're gonna keep the information more ingrained in you. The idea just came from this, and then one day you said, let's film it, and we filmed everything one day, and that was it. The God guy is the guy who I was talking to and having the idea of the video.
Really nice, really nice. And I think that maybe, humor can be good because it's relatable. I think a lot of content that is super high level, maybe for young people or people just starting, it's kind of like, it's just a different kind of planet, really. Like it's so far above them in a way. But I like this commandments video because it's like, it's quite relatable. You know, you do wipe our shoes, and we can't use our knees, and all these things, and it's kind of like subtle coaching in a way. I thought it was really nice.
Thank you. Sorry, there's a Brazilian musician that I quoted him already in another podcast with Daryl, and now I quote him again with the same song, where he says something else. It's like music is a language that I can speak, but smiling is the only language that everyone understands.
Nice.
So I feel like humor, if everyone is laughing, everyone can understand that. You know, it's fun everywhere in the road.
Yeah, cool, man. And on the other side, if you don't mind talking about it, I was going to ask you about your most recent video, because you talk about your problems with alcoholism and also how that's relating to parkour as well. So if you don't mind speaking about that, could you tell?
No, it's fine.
Could you say a bit more about that?
Like I say on the video, and I repeat it here, like it's not like I'm an alcoholic, I'm drinking every day impulsively, that I don't know when to stop, it's just because I feel like it's just too normal that people drink so often a week, or even every weekend, man. Like, is it okay that every weekend people meet to poison themselves? Like, of course alcohol is cool and makes you like lose, and everyone talks, and it's cool, it's nice, but it's so normal that we use this drug every week, and we're just poisoning our bodies. And then it got to me, like I was also thinking that since I was a teenager, I was always drinking, you know. Every week I would drink at least once, maybe. You know, sometimes I would stay like a few weeks without drinking. But everyone, it's just normal to drink. It's okay to have a beer every day. No one cares, and it's poison. And but there was a lot of times that I was just drinking too much, for like a summers that I would spend maybe from the 100 days of summer, more or less, there is in Lisbon. I would be 80 nights of those I would drink, not to be drunk, but 80 of these nights I would drink. And I realized, it was changing my life so much. Like I had so many fights with my ex-girlfriend when I was drunk, or she was drunk, And it was not like aggressive fights, but stupid arguments. Or I would wake up wasted in the day after, in the morning, when I wanted to go training, but I was feeling like shit, so I was in bed or like trying to pick myself up for a long time. It was slowing me down. The money that I was spending on alcohol, and then I was like, man, please stop with this shit. I don't have to do this anymore. But when I did this video, it was because I was already noticing that I had to stop for a while, or to control myself for a while, and I don't want this to be part of my life anymore. And also because I know that I've been losing a lot of friends because of these bad habits. And these bad habits can be alcohol, it can be too much gaming, it can be too much weed, it can be too much phone or too much Instagram, you know. So this video is not only, my goal is not only about alcohol, to tell my problem, to open it up, it is, but the main thing is like, what are you, am I Louis or am I the alcoholic Louis? Am I gonna be the same person if I don't drink alcohol? Or is alcohol so much a part of me? I am alcohol, like I am drunk. And it's the same with other people. Can you live your life if you don't smoke a joint for a week? Or would you be the same athlete, friend, boyfriend if you don't smoke a joint? Is it so much in you that you cannot disconnect these things, you know? So I think that was maybe I lost so many friends because of being too high. They were too high, man. They are high for too long. And they just get numb. That's the thing. They just get numb. I don't know if you smoke or whatever, you know, like I used to smoke. Nowadays I smoke socially, maybe once a month. Like people are smoking, like give 2 talks, give it out, and I get really stoned. But I have friends who they need to smoke every day weed, and they are numb. They cannot read a conversation on a group message. They have to be asking because they cannot find logic anymore. They sleep a lot of hours. They don't come to training because they are lazy, and their body is really, like, their mind is really slow. And I have like 4 friends like this. I have friends who had to go to clinics because they smoked too much, and then they get psychosis or mania. And that's the goal of the video, is like, guys, maybe look inside sometimes and see if something is becoming bigger than you know.
Wow, yeah. I saw the video, and I have to say I was surprised. I didn't expect that, to hear that from you. And I, at the same time, really respected how you approached it, because you sat down, you got your microphone, and you just said it straight, man. I was so good, because the courage it takes to own up to one's own kind of vices is really tough. And you know, people can say all they want about other people when they have problems, but like, fucking look at yourself. Look at what are your addictions? What are you not owning up to? What are you hiding every single day that makes you ashamed of yourself? And to see you accepting it and like doing it publicly as well, I was like, wow, that's strong. That doesn't show me a weak person. That shows me a strong person, man. That's really good. Yeah, so I really respect you for that, and I hope that you can. It sounds like you're on a good kind of.
It feels great, man. I'm
trajectory
good.
Away. Yeah.
It's so good to not drink. It's so much better.
Wicked.
And moreover, is like it's the same thing I said when I started making YouTube videos. Like, the goal that I had was to share a little bit of what parkour has given me, and I feel like there's a lot of content on YouTube from every type of everything, man. You can learn anything. You can study on university only by going to YouTube and watching videos, of course. But for me, it was always this kind of sharing, because I also learn a lot from YouTube, like parkour, for example.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And that's what I wanted to do with the video too. It was to share. And I was thinking, man, this year I have a lot of ideas in my mind of things I want to do. There's this big project that I'm working on since last December. I'm going to release in May. And and I really want to be more personal, because in the future, I really want to look back on my YouTube channel and see like, oh, cool, that was me. And that was my learning process. That's how I was developing my mind and my personality to be the person that I am right now. So it's kind of like a diary also, you know. And I hope that it can help some people in the process. So
yeah, well, I heard you mentioned the project on the Daryl Stingley podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But you said that it kind of made you cry, like the.
Yeah, man, a lot of times. It's not a big video, man. To be honest, like, it's not sick or anything. It's just it just means a lot to me. It's personal. But I think everyone can get related to it. I don't want to talk too much about it now, because I don't want to spoil the
surprise.
Not the surprise, but it's not about. I don't want to. It's not hyping people up. Also, me not telling out loud what the project exactly is not because I want to keep it as a surprise and it's some big crazy element. No, it's basic, simple, and pure. But I don't want to say it out loud because it's still not ready. Now I have maybe 30% of it. Like, I have half of the video ready, but it's 30% of it only, because the other part is harder, it's big movement and it's hard movement. So I'm not filming that yet. I don't know if my body is going to be fine in like next month. But that's when I'm starting to film. I mean, like March, or as soon as it's very sunny. And then, yeah. But everything is written down. Everything is on the timeline, and I already like it. But I can say one thing already about the video. If anyone is still listening.
Oh, they will be. Trust me.
It's all me filming. Like, there's no one else involved on the video. So it's always a standing camera, and it's always me alone the whole video. That's so you cannot expect crazy cinematography, because everything is with the 70D and someone who is not great with video editing and filming. So, but I like it so far.
Yeah, it sounds authentic, man. It sounds like the antithesis to, you know, the crazy viral shit. And in that sense, you're creating more value. That sounds like the gold that people will find. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's my love letter to parkour. It's
Okay.
I talk about this to Shane Parkour,
Yes.
who's I recorded the podcast this week, but it's never gonna go online because the audio quality is not too good. And he said that his video on Ascent 2 was his love letter to parkour, and this is my love letter to parkour. This video for sure. When he told me that, I was like, yes, exactly. That's my love letter to parkour too. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's funny. As we get older and things, I sometimes think like I want to make something like that, like as you said, like a love letter, but then a part of my brain also says, well, do I need to do that now, or do I do that when I'm 57? You know, like maybe when I'm 57, I'll write my love letter, and it'll be when I'm much older and much slower. But
I think you will do it when you feel like you have the words to say. I found the words. The first time I had this, I heard some idea similar to this was in 2016 or 15 with my friend Joe O'Brien from Street Media, when we were recording Saltos.
Yeah.
And he told me like, dude, you have to make a video like this. And I was like, yeah, it's true. And we were listening to the song of the video, 2015, still the same song.
Oh,
and
yes. That's the best, man.
So is that song together with a lot of years, all these years of people saying, Luis, you have to make this video, man. You know you have to make this video. And I'm like, I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting for the right time. And yeah, now it feels like the right time, because I'm so motivated to do it, and I think about it all the time. I go to bed to sleep and I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And I really enjoy it.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. And for people listening, make sure you're following Luis. Make sure you're up to date, because I feel like there might be a little bit of a classic on the way. Maybe I don't want to hype it, but just from the way you're expressing it, though, I think that it sounds really interesting. So
it's coming out 15th of May. Okay, just so you know, 15th of May is my 30th year's birthday, and it's gonna be more or less my 15 years of parkour training. So right there,
wow,
it's another tip.
legendary, cool, man. Well, I also wanted to change the conversation a little bit, if you've still got some time. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your conversation with Daryl, and I was trying to think of how to word this, but I was thinking, how can we, parkour is a predominantly white male sport, and I wanted to hear your opinion on how can we encourage different minorities to get into parkour, and how can we do this through coaching? How can we do this through content? I wanted to hear your thoughts. I know that you spoke a little bit about that with Daryl, and I thought it was a really interesting conversation. So please, yeah.
Thank you. So I think that it's a really hard thing to do. But the main things that we can do is we can like make a video documentary talking about this, or talking about black people who train, or not only black people but minorities, so women. Or the thing is that I think the worst problem about this minority type of training is that parkour is very, like, I think one of the countries that is the most popular is in Morocco and in India. So it's like, it still is like a African, a black sport, or colored skin sport. But usually parkour is also I don't know, if you like, it's, if you're from a not poor family, if you're black in Portugal, studying parkour doesn't seem like a really great idea, because you're gonna be frowned upon for doing a sport that is based on climbing walls, or jumping walls, or escaping, or chasing. And it's also really hard to do a sport that doesn't seem to give you a future, because can someone imagine like a 10 years old kid saying, oh, when I grow up I want to be a professional parkour athlete? It doesn't seem like a real idea, because you want to be a football player because you get cars, women, and millionaire. And parkour, what you're gonna do, like Instagram viral videos, you know? And for someone who is coming from a poor background, very poor family, or black person or something like this, like in Brazil, for example, you cannot imagine having a future that you're doing a sport that is not a sport to be a professional, famous person, you know, like that you can have a safe financial career. So I don't know if I can make myself understood. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah, man.
In Portuguese, it would be easier, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like,
thank you.
It's for example, when I started training parkour, like my mom moved to Portugal when in 2005. I started training in 2006, 2007, and I didn't have money to train. Like, I had to go to school, to go to university, to have a normal life, and try to make a better living than my mom and my dad could give me. But they were working hard for me to become, I don't know, like a lawyer, an astronaut, or a doctor. And I fall in love with parkour. Imagine what it is for a parent like my mom who moved to Portugal and is cleaning houses all the time, like cleaning houses for a living, to have their kids jumping walls and thinking like, oh, this guy loves parkour, he wants to do parkour for a living. So there were many times that I would go out and train, and she wouldn't give me money because she couldn't to eat, so I would be the whole day training outside, and very happy about it because I could be a whole day outside training, but I could just eat when I got home late at night. Or I would go with Afonso, my best training buddy, and we would go to the beach and all day just drilling, jump up from things, backflips and stuff like this. And we didn't have any money to buy anything in the supermarket to eat because we were 16, 15 then. And then we would go back to Algés, the area of chaos, and we would buy like a big bottle of Coke because we were so dehydrated and starving. Yeah. And that's the only money the only thing we could buy with the money we had would be like a bottle of Coke, and we just drink the whole Coke like and then feel satisfied and then go home and meet our parents again. So it's like there is this difficulty because it's not a serious sport. You don't have the support of your family and people that want you to have a better future than jumping walls. So this is already like a very strong point, in my opinion, for the minorities, for more poor family. It's difficult for them to believe that parkour is something feasible. You don't want your kids to do it. Yeah. So this is already a point. And then you always looked as a criminal because of media. If you're darker skin, you don't have a lot of opportunities because, man, like I could never do a lot of stunt jobs in Portugal or advertisings that I would be the main actor because they don't put black people to do this in Europe. So there's another difficulty. So you don't feel like it's possible for you to become a super like stuntman or whatever. I don't know. I think there are a lot of difficulties, and how can you fix that? I feel like it's up to us, the darker skinned people, to show that, like, to present ourselves also as role models for people that can get related to us. For example, people usually they follow YouTubers or social media people that they can get related to. So you don't see a lot of black YouTubers because most part of the audience on YouTube is like Western white-skinned people. So they will see someone that it's somehow similar to them, for example. So I feel like our job as darker skinned people is to create a role model to see them. Guys, you can make it. Like, really, believe. Just do it. Do what you love. Have fun. Enjoy it, and you can do it somehow. And also, then you need the whole society to become more conscious that we darker skinned people, we minorities, and also women, everyone is. We need our space as heroes also, because we are never, it's very rarely that we are seen as equals. It's always like criminals or stuff like that, But it's getting better also, man. It's just a process. It's just time. You just need time.
I think it relates a bit to what you were saying before about making people kind of understand parkour and take it seriously as a thing and not just a gimmick. Because then that could be maybe a starting block to then help parents and families think like, oh, this is actually a viable thing to do. This is a great thing to do for young people. So maybe if we can do what you've said and promote parkour in its kind of authentic and an inspiring way, then we can help people get into parkour.
Yeah, but it's so much harder to do this for a family like a poor family, because they want, like, why do you think there are so many Brazilian families that they want their kids to become football players? Because they want the kids to have like it's like,
yeah,
it is a promising future. And that's what a family wants for the kids, like a promising future. And with parkour, it's not like there is an idea of promising future. And even if you talk about self-development and all the values of parkour, it's not something that a lot of families want their kids to do, like lower income families, because they want something that is more promising and stable for the kids in the future.
So we need to boost the economy of parkour, don't we? We need to make it. We need to make it
help.
Yeah, we need to make it viable. We need to get jobs involved. We need more coaching. We need we need more sponsorships. We need more, maybe more competition. Maybe these sort of things.
Yeah, sure. Like events.
Yeah, man. Like, if you're listening and you think you've had a thought like, maybe an event in my city would be good, then yeah, just try it.
Yeah.
See what happens, because we do need to generate some sort of viability with parkour, and if we can do that, maybe that will help. Maybe that will help people. You want to try it?
And also, of course, I don't want to, please don't get me wrong, I'm not victimizing myself or black people or anything. It's not like we're victims, but it's just pure reality. And it's not only with black people, it's with women, and it's with any sort of like a homosexual, LGBTQ people, you know. It's complicated, and it's the reality, and that's how society is. And we're fighting for a better world, and we will get there, man. It's a process.
Yeah.
We will make a strong parkour economy. It's young. We're starting now. This is the starting point of parkour. It's gonna get bigger and bigger all the time. So it's up to us right now to shape it and to carve it into something beautiful and nice and respected and valuable, more than just memes, you know.
Lovely. Well, I think on that note, on that kind of that lovely analogy, I think we'll end it there. So, just to finish off, thank you so much, Louise. That was really lovely to speak to you. Thank you for allowing me on your podcast, which people need to go and check out. It's called Swapping Shoes. He's got some really big guests on there, some really famous parkour people, and there's some great stories and great insights. So go over there, make sure you go and look on Spotify. Also go over to Louise's YouTube channel. There's plenty of value in there. If you want to see him do the palm spin gainer or whatever it's called, like, man, that shit is awesome. Go and see that. I think that you have a great deal to share, and I hope that support builds around you, Louise, more and more, because I think that your heart is in such a good place, and you deserve to be supported in any way you can. So I think if you're listening, guys, go and check out Louise. He's a great guy.
Thank you very much, man. Honored to be here too. Really, thank you for giving me the space also to talk, and keep it up with your podcast too. Let's keep making this parkour a nice place, like a big discipline.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can roll over to the next podcast, which was with Will Brown, who's a practitioner from London who runs something called the London Movement Group. I had a really interesting chat with him about style and competence and different aspects of learning. So if you're on Spotify, you can just roll over onto that one. But from me, thank you very much. Muito obrigado, Luis.
De nada.
And thank you guys. Thank you for listening.
Ciao, ciao.
Yep.
Cool.